I made this painting for my sister, gave it to her for a Christmas present. She liked it, framed it, and hung it on her dining room wall. When I first saw the painting hanging there, I thought, that don't look too bad. I think I'll try another one. And I did. 20 years later, I'm still painting. Not everything I did was perfect. I made a lot of mistakes along the way. I probably ruined every painting I started and had to start over at least once, sometimes twice. But it satisfied something in me, something, I don't know. I just like to create. I like to paint. I like to build something. It's hard to explain. But when creation meets destruction, the first art lesson, the first art lesson I ever got took place in kindergarten. My first day of school. I was sitting at a little round table with four other kids. We were each given a piece of paper and a box of crayons. I took the black crayon out of the box. I colored the entire page black. Afterwards, the teacher came up to me and said, "That's very interesting, David. What is it?" I said, "That is fog. Fog." It was that day that I learned the importance of giving every work of art a name, even if fog sounded like an excuse. It was still They told me not to do this, but when you can't sleep, I'm constantly testing. Once Philly had transported these girls from the docks to a home he owned 1 hour north of Tampa. It was located in a heavily wooded area, way, way off the highway. Once he had them, he told them a series of lies that he thought would calm them down and make his job a little bit easier. The first lie he told was that they had just been rescued by the American government, and the American government was keeping them or letting them stay in this luxurious vacation home. The paperwork was being done, and they would be reunited with their families within, he said, 3 to 4 weeks, which was another lie. 3 to 4 weeks, they would be reunited with their mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers. There was nothing to worry about. He told them to get showers. He had clean clothes for them. He would feed them. There'd be a meal served. And hopefully they would be able to settle down for the night and not worry. Problem was, however, that these girls were already traumatized from their long journey. They should have been taken to a hospital and checked out by doctors. Instead, they were told to take showers, after which they were given peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. The first question Billy was asked by one of these girls was, can America not afford something better than peanut butter and jelly after rescuing us from such a long journey? Billy's answer, peanut butter has vitamins that you need. There'll be a big breakfast in the morning. Of course, nothing could have been further from the truth. There was simply more peanut butter and jelly. Another question, can we call our parents to let them know that we're safe, that we've been rescued by your government? To which Billy responded, we're so far out here in the woods we have no telephone reception. To which the girl replied, surely your country has telephone reception everywhere. Another question they had is, will we be able to go outside? To which Billy responded, there are wild animals outside, alligators and bears and things that could eat a young girl alive. To which one girl simply replied, pants on fire. Hey, yeah, it's 5 o'clock. They got it back on. Right. Listen, I sent you 15 minutes. First 15 minutes of the film. Right. Uh-huh. Because human trafficking is a hot new subject. So I just wanted to, this is not what the movie's about. You know, I, I need, I'm hanging on by a thread here. Yeah. I need some money. Right. Well, that money isn't available right now. It's not there. It's there, but yeah. Yes. Let's put it this way. In a perfect world, nobody would write a story like this. Good way to start today. Nobody would write a story like this because a story like this wouldn't be true. Yes. But it's not a perfect world, is it? After the job was finished, everybody left. My job was to drive the load to an abandoned cemetery in Central Florida known as the Perfect World. A hole had already been dug, the hiding place found. I just had to offload it, which took quite a while. It was a creepy place, and it was the first place I ever encountered a ghost. People walking away from me, never toward me. I never saw anybody's face. Men in dark clothes, and this woman in white. And this woman in white walking down a path. I couldn't get out of there fast enough. You can believe that. I unloaded coke, a suitcase full of cash, 2 dead bodies. The next day, Billy wanted to meet up at a place called Hamburger Universe. He had a special request. I had no idea what he was talking about, but that's where we met. The Universe was a gourmet restaurant disguised as some rundown 50-ish diner. Burgers, fries, and a Coke ran about $50. I'm glad Willie was paying for this. I never would have thought to come here. Willie didn't want to talk about the job. He just slid me an envelope. Willie wanted me to give my magic hour photos, trees, dark sky, tall grass, to each of the girls. As a reward, he said. The money's in the envelope. Then he got up and left. It was the last time I ever saw him. I was 11 years old, on vacation in Canada. We were at Lake Louise when I saw an artist set up an easel and start painting the glacier at the end of the lake. He must have done 4, 5 paintings a day, making little changes with each painting. I finally got the courage to go up to him and ask him, "How come you keep painting the same thing?" He said, "What kind of car does your father drive?" I said, "We have a VW camper we're traveling in." He said, "There must be 1,000,000 of those on the road." "Yeah, we find there's quite a few," I said. He said, "Everything repeats. Everything repeats. When you see something, you just keep repeating, making small changes. Everything repeats." I said, "I never thought of that." He said, "Yeah, just remember, everything repeats." When I started using my phone to make my own art, I stumbled onto these, what I call my happy hour or my magic hour paintings. A dark sky at the top with stars, a moon, and toward the bottom, daylight. Usually I'd put a tree in the middle. Received a tree with a cityscape in the background. Martha received painting with a red sky. Venti received nighttime tall grass. Rosa received tree among the stars. And Venti painted sky. They also threw in speed of sound and the exploding head. just because each girl liked the painting she received, and they stood there in the parking lot comparing. I had never got on the van that day. The girl said she was being driven to the embassy or the consulate, where she would meet up with her parents and fly back home. They were all quite envious and hoped that they would be next. I remember sitting in my truck after I dropped them off, feeling slightly disappointed that I hadn't been able to give Anya her gift. But I was happy. I remember being happy that she was getting to go home. I read the letter with its cryptic remarks, signed by all 6 of the girls. I kind of wondered what it meant and why it was left by my door. Nobody knew my address, except for Billy. He would have just given it to me or told me. I drove, my eyes on the road, my mind on my art. That was always my escape. Art was my happy place, where I could arrange primary colors in almost any form and be happy with the result. Written at the bottom of the letter, I had put, "We are the seeds," at the beginning. I had no idea what that meant, no idea what to make of it. I kept driving. The key to the house was in my pocket. It had been sent along with the letter. I would pick up the little treasures and take them to work today. Again. My job was simple. Pick people up, drop people off. Nothing more, nothing less. But I had a strange feeling. Life was going to get much more complicated. I'm telling you, the whole damn place was empty. I went up there this morning. I got there my regular time, around 7:30, walked in, and everything had been cleared out overnight. Yeah, the last time I was there was about 6 o'clock, between 6 and 6:30 last night, when I took them all from the hotel to the cabin in the woods. Yeah, everything seemed fine. They all walked inside. I took off. This morning, nobody's there. It's completely empty. Yep, nothing in there. Not a stick of furniture, not a human being, nothing. Yeah, well, there was one girl on Anya. I don't know. I can't pronounce their damn names. Anyway, she never got on the van last night. They said that she was being taken to the consulate. I think there's a Dutch consulate in Miami where she was going to meet her parents and they were going to fly home. That would have been last night. I have no idea. No, I didn't take videos of anything. Yeah, I don't know where these other girls are. I'm assuming I'm assuming they're probably in danger. I don't know what they were doing at that motel. Villy assured me they weren't turning tricks or being turned into prostitutes or anything like that. He said there was much bigger plans involved for these young ladies, but he never went into any detail, and I didn't ask. Yeah, well, after this job, uh, we did. I I kind of, yeah, in the back of my mind, I was kind of worried about, getting arrested for that. Stan Grief killed two people living in that house. Why? I got no idea. This house was it wasn't a safe house, but it was a place where uh, people stored their drugs, their money, and they kept an old retired couple in that house to keep it looking like somebody lived there. Yeah, cut the lawn, waved to the neighbors. Didn't get involved in too much, but they uh, they made it seem like it was somebody was occupying the dwelling, and you know there was nothing to worry about. Right, we were just gonna we took the stash, the money, which was, I don't know, a suitcase full of money. Somebody told me $1 million, but I really don't know. I didn't count it. No, I'll tell you something. When I got to that graveyard that night, the perfect place or the perfect world or whatever the heck it's called, the place was so creepy. I just unloaded everything as quickly as I could, and I got out. Yeah, the place is abandoned. It hasn't. It's overgrown. It hasn't. There's no one taking care of that place. Yeah, swamp is encroaching. It wouldn't surprise me if in 10 years it was all underwater. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. I guess I got a mystery on my hands. Yeah. Oh, you want me to go back up there? Uh-huh. Yeah, well, I don't know about that. I'll think about it. Right. I just I just kind of want to forget everything for a while. Yep. I'm going to lock the doors to my place and not answer the phone for a minute. Yeah, you take care. Bye. During the time I took off, my mind replayed the events of the last 2, 3 weeks constantly, replaying and playing in my head, especially the girls. I wondered where they had gone, what was happening to them. I prayed and hoped it was something good, but I had a feeling probably it wasn't. I didn't know what to do. I did happen to see a lawyer, spent a lot of money putting him on retainer. Who knows? And I couldn't get a hold of Villy. His phone went straight to a message, voicemail. The girls? I dreamt about them at night. They haunted my dreams. Their names mixed up in my head. I wondered what was going on in that hotel, what was really taking place. What I hadn't told anybody is they had left me notes in the van. I found them. Some were written in Dutch, some were written in American. Those they can enslave, they kill. And notes like, our parents can't save us. The police won't save us. Our parents can't save us. They're incapable. The police won't save us. What were they going to do? The last note I received, or that had been left behind, was one that simply said, "We have to save ourselves." That was it. I got up at the crack of dawn to make the drive up to the cemetery. My plan was to get there as the sun was coming up. I didn't want to get there too early. I didn't want to get there too late. I arrived, quickly found the spot where I had buried the merchandise. Part of the cemetery was fogged in. The creep factor was off the charts. I knew I was being watched. I looked up, saw Anya standing next to a gravestone. The area around the stone had been dug up. She looked at me and said, Come closer before floating away. The story's over. At least for me it is. I've laid out all the details. I've told you about the temptations we faced and the jobs we pulled, and how each of my friends passed away, murdered, disappeared. I'm a sole survivor. Florida is a dead man's paradise. It's filled with lost souls who are unable or unwilling to walk toward the light.